No excuses, get up and get it done. Written and published by Audiobook Lover. If you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of the same excuses holding you back, and ready to see real change in your life, this is the book for you. We've all been there, feeling like we're just one step away from success, but for some reason, that step never seems to happen. We tell ourselves we'll start tomorrow, next week, or after the next big thing happens, but tomorrow never comes, does it? And all those one-day plans just turn into more reasons to stay where you are. This book is a wake-up call. It's time to stop talking about what you want to do and start doing it. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more pretending that circumstances will change if you don't take control. Your dreams are not out of reach, but they will only become a reality if you decide to take the action required today, not tomorrow. Inside, you'll find the tools to eliminate the excuses that have been holding you back. I'm going to show you how to push past the comfort zones that are keeping you stuck, how to build the kind of daily habits that lead to success, and how to cultivate a mindset that doesn't settle for less than what you're capable of. The truth is, every day you wait is a day you lose. So why not make today the day everything changes? This isn't about achieving some far-off goal in the future. This is about taking the first step, right now, toward the person you know you can be. It's about showing up, doing the work, and staying disciplined even when it gets tough. No more excuses. It's time to get up and get it done. Chapter 1. No more excuses, the power of personal responsibility. How many times have you said, "I'll do it tomorrow"? Or how often do you find yourself thinking, "I'm just not good enough for that"? Maybe it's even the excuse that sounds like, "I don't have time," when deep down, you know you're just not prioritizing the right things. These are excuses, and here's the thing about excuses, they're keeping you stuck. They're a silent killer to your growth and potential, and worse, they stop you from taking action, which is the one thing that can change everything. It's a trap, isn't it? You keep telling yourself that if only circumstances were different, if only you had more time, more money, or more support, things would be easier. You'd get that promotion. You'd start that business. You'd work on your health. But deep down, you know that it's not about what you don't have. It's about what you're willing to do with what you've got. That's where the power lies, and the moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything shifts. Now, I know you might be thinking, but what if life really is tough? What if the situation is too hard, or the obstacles are too big? I hear you. Life can throw some serious curveballs. I'm not saying it's easy, but here's the deal. No one is going to come and fix things for you. And that's actually a blessing, because it means you have the power to change it all. The day you stop blaming the outside world for your troubles, the day you own your life, is the day you unlock the power to move forward. Personal responsibility isn't about carrying guilt or regret. It's about empowerment. It's about realizing that, no matter what's happened up to this point, you have the ability to shape your future. And when you make the decision to take responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your results, it's like putting your life back in your own hands. The power of personal responsibility lies in this simple, yet profound truth. You are the one who controls your actions. You are the one who decides whether to get up after falling, whether to keep going when things get tough, and whether to push through the discomfort that comes with growth. And let's be real for a second, growth doesn't happen in the easy, comfortable moments. It happens when you push yourself past the excuses. When you look in the mirror and say, "I'm not waiting for anyone else to change my life. I'm doing this for me right now. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'll wait until the time is right? Well, guess what? The time is never going to be perfect. There will always be something that stands in the way, whether it's fear, doubt, distractions, or lack of resources. But when you start taking full responsibility for your actions, you realize that you don't need perfect circumstances to move forward. You only need the will to start, right where you are with what you have. This isn't some motivational fluff. It's a fundamental truth that changes everything. The day you decide to stop making excuses and take responsibility for your actions is the day you start to break free from the cycle of inaction and start making things happen. It's the key that unlocks the door to your future. But first, you have to understand this. Your current situation, no matter how challenging, was created by the decisions you've made up until now. It's harsh, but it's also liberating. Because if you created your present reality, it means you can create your future too. Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding that you're not going to let excuses control your life anymore. Imagine taking full ownership of your choices. That means owning the decisions that have gotten you to where you are now, whether they're good or bad, and understanding that you have the power to make different choices going forward. You have the ability to start building the life you've always dreamed of, but it all starts with taking responsibility. Not for what others have done to you, not for the mistakes you've made in the past, but for the choices you make moving forward. You have to decide that you're done waiting for things to change. You are the change. Let's talk about excuses for a moment. Excuses are tricky. They don't always look like excuses. They can show up as rational thoughts, even good reasons. You might tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it when things calm down, or I'm not ready yet. These sound reasonable, right? But what they're really doing is keeping you in a state of procrastination, and procrastination is just another form of avoidance. It's a way to keep you from facing what you need to do. Excuses like these are comfortable, but comfort doesn't lead to growth. I'm sure you've heard the saying, growth happens outside of your comfort zone. It's not just a nice idea, it's a fact. The truth is, if you want things to change, you have to push yourself. You have to step outside of your excuses and face the challenges head on. And when you do that, you start to see what you're truly capable of. I want you to think about something for a moment. What would your life look like if you stopped making excuses? What if you stopped telling yourself that you'll do it tomorrow and decided to take action today? What if you stopped telling yourself that you weren't good enough and instead you took one small step toward your goals, no matter how imperfectly? It doesn't matter if you're not ready or if you feel scared. The key is to act anyway. And here's the truth. When you take responsibility for your actions, you stop waiting for the right moment. You make the moment right. When you start taking responsibility, you also start learning. You begin to see that failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from. Every mistake you make is just another opportunity to grow, to refine your approach, and to get better. So instead of making excuses, embrace your setbacks as lessons. Use them to adjust your course, not to quit. This is how you develop resilience, how you build your confidence, and how you create momentum. With every small step you take, you begin to gain more control over your life. I know it's not easy, but I also know that deep down, you have everything it takes to succeed. You just need to stop making excuses and take full responsibility for your life. The moment you do that, you'll find that you have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your future, and the time to build that future is now. It's time to stop blaming the world, stop blaming other people, and stop blaming yourself. It's time to take ownership of your life. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get up, take responsibility, and start creating the life you've always dreamed of. Because no one is coming to do it for you. The power to change is already inside of you. You just have to take action, and the time to act is now. Chapter 2. Kill the comfort zone, embrace discomfort as growth. Let's be honest for a second. How many of us spend a good part of our day doing things that make us feel comfortable? We settle into routines, we stick with what we know, and we avoid anything that might make us uncomfortable. It's natural, right? Comfort feels good. But here's the reality. Growth doesn't live in comfort. Success doesn't live in comfort. If you want to see real change in your life, if you want to experience true progress, you've got to step out of that cozy little bubble you've built for yourself. Because as much as you might hate to hear it, comfort is your enemy. Now, I get it. The idea of stepping into the unknown can be terrifying. It's that voice in your head that says, what if I fail? What if I look stupid? What if I'm not good enough? These are the thoughts that keep you stuck, that keep you small. But here's something I want you to really understand. Those feelings, that fear of discomfort, that's the signal that you're on the edge of growth. Every time you feel that resistance, every time you feel that pushback from your comfort zone, it's a sign that you're about to break through to something new. But first, let's talk about comfort. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that comfort is where happiness lies. After all, who wouldn't want to live a life where everything is predictable, easy, and stress-free? It sounds like the dream, doesn't it? But here's the truth. When you live in that comfort zone for too long, you start to shrink, you stop growing, you stop evolving, and you become stagnant. Your dreams start to fade into the background because they feel too distant, too impossible, and too uncomfortable to reach. Think about it this way. If you've ever tried to change anything in your life, whether it's starting a new habit, learning a new skill, or pushing for a big goal, you know it's not easy. The early stages are uncomfortable. Your body, your mind, and even your soul resist it. You'll experience frustration, you'll face setbacks, and at times you'll want to quit. It's in those moments when it would be so much easier to retreat back into your comfort zone. And that's exactly what most people do. They turn back to what feels familiar, what feels safe. But every time you do that, you're choosing to stay stuck. I'm here to tell you, you're capable of so much more. But to access that potential, you have to break free from the prison of your comfort zone. You have to push through that resistance, face the discomfort head-on, and keep moving forward, even when every part of you wants to retreat. Discomfort isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. It's the fuel for your growth. It's the signal that you're on the right track. You want to level up in life, then get comfortable being uncomfortable. Now, I know this sounds easier said than done. When you're standing on the edge of something new, something challenging, it can feel like your whole world is about to collapse. But that's where the magic happens. The first step is recognizing that your fear is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to move forward. The more uncomfortable something feels, the more you should lean into it. Your growth is directly proportional to the amount of discomfort you're willing to endure. Think about it. Every successful person you know, every person who's achieved greatness, has had to face discomfort. They didn't get to where they are by playing it safe. They took risks. They faced their fears. They made decisions that weren't easy. They kept moving, even when things didn't feel perfect. They understood that discomfort is just part of the process, and instead of running from it, they welcomed it. But here's the twist. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean you throw yourself into the deep end without preparation. It means you're willing to take action, even when you don't feel 100% ready. It's about making the choice to go after what you want, even when your mind is telling you it's too much. So often, we sit back and wait for the perfect moment. We wait until we have everything figured out, until the stars align, until we feel confident. But here's the thing, there will never be a perfect moment. Waiting for things to feel just right is another form of procrastination. The key is to start where you are, with what you have, and keep going, even when it doesn't feel comfortable. Let me tell you something important. Nothing worth having comes easy. And this goes beyond the big goals or the huge dreams. The small, everyday actions, the ones that challenge you to be better, to step outside of yourself, that's where the real growth happens. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's hitting the gym when you feel like skipping it. It's making that phone call even when your heart is racing. It's showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Those are the moments that will define your success. It's not the big leaps, it's the small, uncomfortable steps you take consistently. Here's the secret. Every time you step outside of your comfort zone, you grow stronger, your confidence builds, you become more resilient. And before you know it, the discomfort that once felt so overwhelming becomes part of your new normal. It stops being something you fear and starts being something you expect. You start to realize that growth isn't supposed to feel easy. In fact, it's supposed to feel challenging. That's the point. It's only by doing what's hard that we unlock our true potential. You know, when you take that first step into discomfort, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. That fear you feel, it's temporary. It's like a cloud that passes as soon as you begin. And the rewards on the other side of that fear, they're priceless. You'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll learn things about yourself that will blow your mind. You'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. But if you keep playing it safe, if you stay in that comfortable bubble, you'll never experience that. You'll never know what you're truly capable of. And the saddest part is, you'll keep wondering, what if? What if I had taken that risk? What if I had pushed myself just a little harder? What if I hadn't let fear keep me stuck? You don't want to live a life of regrets. You want to live a life that challenges you, excites you, and helps you become the best version of yourself. So here's my challenge to you. Find something in your life that scares you. Find something that makes you uncomfortable, and go after it. Whether it's starting that business, asking for that promotion, or simply speaking up when you usually stay quiet, do it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just step out of your comfort zone and take action. And remember, this isn't a one-time thing. This is a lifelong practice. Every time you feel that resistance, every time you feel that pull to retreat, know that you're growing. Know that you're pushing yourself to become someone stronger, better, and more capable. So kill your comfort zone. Embrace discomfort, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. The discomfort you feel today is the strength you'll carry tomorrow. Keep pushing, keep growing, keep going, because that's where the magic happens. Chapter 3. The power of routine. Build habits that propel you. We all know the drill. You wake up groggy and tired, hitting the snooze button like it's your job. You don't want to get up. Your bed feels like a warm embrace you don't want to leave. But you know you have to. You know there's a list of things waiting for you to tackle. A day full of challenges. A day that will require you to bring your best. So what happens? You start your day half-heartedly. Maybe you scroll through social media. Maybe you grab that unhealthy breakfast. Maybe you rush through the morning, and by the time you get to your first task, you're already feeling overwhelmed and distracted. Now I'm going to be honest with you here. This isn't just about having a routine. It's about the kind of routine that sets you up for success. It's about intentionally designing a day that propels you forward, not one that holds you back. Because the truth is, the way you start your day, the habits you build, the things you do without thinking, they're shaping your future. And whether you realize it or not, the quality of your habits is what determines the quality of your life. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, from athletes to entrepreneurs, from artists to leaders, they have one thing in common. They've mastered the art of routine. It's not luck that got them to where they are. It's consistency. It's the simple things they do every single day, without fail, that compound into extraordinary results. And here's the kicker. You don't need to be a genius or a prodigy to make this work. You just need discipline, a bit of strategy, and the willingness to put in the work. But here's the challenge. Building habits isn't always glamorous. It's not about looking for that secret formula or magical moment where everything clicks. It's about the small, everyday actions that no one else sees. The things that happen when no one's watching. The times when you feel like quitting. When your mind tries to convince you that it's not worth it. This is where the magic happens. This is where growth occurs. And the first step is recognizing that your routine, your habits, are the foundation of everything you want in life. Now, I know it's easy to brush this off and think, but I'm different. I don't need a rigid routine. I work best when I feel inspired or motivated. I get it. We've all been there. It feels good to follow that spark of inspiration, to chase that burst of creativity or motivation. But here's the thing. Motivation is fleeting. It's a wave that crashes, and when it's gone, you're left in the same spot. It's consistency that brings results, not motivation. And that's where a solid routine comes in. Think about the habits you already have, the ones you don't even think about anymore. Maybe you have a morning coffee ritual. Maybe you check your emails first thing. Maybe you fall into the same pattern of distractions without even realizing it. These are the routines that are shaping your life, whether they're helping you or holding you back. If you want to make a real shift, you have to start consciously designing your day, shaping your habits around the person you want to become, not the person you are right now. So where do you start? It begins with one simple truth. Everything starts with your mindset. The way you approach your day, your habits, and your routine is a reflection of what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're not capable of being consistent, you won't be. If you believe that change is too hard, you'll never stick to it. But if you believe that small, consistent actions add up over time, you'll begin to see results. That's where the power lies, in the belief that your daily actions matter, that they will compound over time and lead you to the life you want. Next, let's talk about structure. The key to creating a powerful routine isn't about rigidly sticking to a schedule that leaves no room for flexibility. It's about having a framework, a guide that helps you prioritize your time and energy. Think about it like building a house. You wouldn't just throw bricks and wood together and hope for the best. You would start with a blueprint, with a plan, with a vision of how you want it to look. Your routine is the same thing. It's your blueprint for success. What's your morning look like? Is it rushed? Is it scattered? Or is it intentional, setting the tone for the day ahead? Imagine if you could wake up not feeling overwhelmed by the thought of what's to come, but instead feeling grounded and ready to tackle your most important tasks. That's the power of a morning routine. It's the first step toward controlling your day, not letting your day control you. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Start simple. Maybe you wake up 5 minutes earlier than usual, and instead of jumping into your phone, you take a few deep breaths, set an intention for the day, and drink a glass of water. That's it. That small change alone can shift the entire trajectory of your morning. From there you can add in other habits, exercise, journaling, reading, meditation, whatever serves you and your goals. The point is, you're starting your day with intention, not just reacting to whatever life throws your way. But here's the truth, building a routine isn't always going to be easy. There will be days when you want to skip it. Days when the bed is calling your name or distractions seem too tempting to resist. And that's okay. It's part of the process. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to show up anyway. It's the willingness to push through the resistance, to make your habits non-negotiable, even on the tough days. This is where most people give up. They think, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it when I feel motivated. But the key to building a lasting routine is to keep going, even when it feels hard, even when you don't feel like it. It's about making a commitment to yourself, no matter what. Because the moment you decide that your habits matter, that your routine is your foundation, is the moment you start to see real progress. And this doesn't just apply to your mornings. Your entire day can be shaped by your routine, from how you approach work to how you wind down at night. What do you do after you finish your most important tasks? Do you check out mentally, scroll through social media for hours, or do you make time for reflection and growth? How do you close your day? Is it with a sense of accomplishment, or do you go to bed feeling unfulfilled? These are all part of your routine, and when you take control of them, you take control of your life. The key takeaway here is this: your habits are the small decisions you make every day, and they add up. Over time, those small decisions compound into a life that either serves you or sabotages you. So, ask yourself, what kind of life are you building with your routine? Are your habits helping you become the person you want to be, or are they keeping you stuck? If you want to change your life, you've got to start with your daily habits. You've got to start with the small, seemingly insignificant actions that, over time, will lead to extraordinary results. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, and doing the work. The work may be hard, it may be uncomfortable, but trust me, it will be worth it. Because when you look back, you won't see the struggle, you'll see the transformation. And that's the power of routine. Chapter 4. The Mindset Shift. Cultivate a growth mindset. We've all heard the term mindset thrown around. But what does it really mean? It's more than just a word. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world, and more importantly, the lens through which you see yourself. It's how you approach every challenge, how you perceive every setback, and how you handle the everyday battles that life throws at you. And here's the thing, your mindset has the power to shape your entire reality. It's the most influential factor in whether or not you achieve your goals, overcome obstacles, and ultimately become the person you want to be. But if we're being honest, most of us operate from a fixed mindset. We believe that our abilities are set in stone. We think that talent, intelligence, or success is something that's either in our genes or not. We convince ourselves that we're either born with what it takes or we're not. And because of that belief, we hold ourselves back. We shy away from challenges. We take the easy route. We stay in our comfort zones, and we let fear dictate our choices. We allow our fixed beliefs to limit what we think we're capable of, and in doing so, we prevent ourselves from growing. Now, let me tell you something that will completely change the way you approach life. You are not born with a fixed mindset. Your mindset can change. Your beliefs about what's possible can evolve. You can cultivate a growth mindset, and when you do, everything in your life shifts. Suddenly, obstacles become opportunities. Failures are no longer the end, they're the beginning of growth. You stop seeing challenges as things to avoid and start seeing them as invitations to learn and expand. But I know what you're thinking. You've tried changing your mindset before, right? Maybe you read a self-help book, attended a seminar, or watched a motivational video. You got all hyped up for a few days, but then life happened. Old habits crept back in, negative thoughts returned, and you were back to square one. Here's the truth: shifting your mindset isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous process. It's like going to the gym. If you want to get stronger, you have to keep showing up and doing the work, day in and day out. And just like in the gym, you won't see immediate results. It takes time. But trust me, it's worth it. The first step in cultivating a growth mindset is recognizing that you're not bound by your current abilities. Just because you've struggled with something in the past doesn't mean you're doomed to fail at it forever. Every skill, every talent, every bit of knowledge can be developed with effort, persistence, and the right approach. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing to learn, to fail, and to try again. A growth mindset is the belief that with the right effort and attitude, you can improve at anything. One of the most powerful ways to start shifting your mindset is by changing the way you talk to yourself. Think about it. How often do you catch yourself saying things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do that," or "I'll never be able to figure it out"? Every time you say something like that, you reinforce a fixed mindset. You're telling yourself that you're incapable of growth, and when you do that, you close the door to possibility. But when you start replacing those limiting thoughts with more empowering ones, your mindset shifts. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," try saying, "I'm not there yet, but I can get there with practice." Instead of saying, "I can't do it," try, "I'm learning how to do it, and I'll improve every day." Your self-talk is your foundation, and if you want to build a growth mindset, you need to start by changing the way you speak to yourself. Another way to develop a growth mindset is by embracing challenges rather than avoiding them. You see, when you have a fixed mindset, challenges feel like threats. They feel like something to run from. But with a growth mindset, challenges become something to embrace. They become an opportunity to learn, to stretch, to grow. If you've ever avoided a challenge because you were afraid of failing, I get it. But the truth is, failure is one of the best teachers you'll ever have. The most successful people didn't get there by avoiding failure. They got there by failing, learning from it, and getting back up again. You don't have to be afraid of failure. You have to be willing to learn from it. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do you think they've never failed? Of course they have. They've fallen flat on their faces more times than you can count. But they don't let failure define them. They don't let it make them quit. They let it fuel their growth. And that's what you need to do too. Start seeing failure as feedback, not as a final judgment on your abilities. Every time you fail, you're one step closer to success, because each failure brings you valuable lessons. The next shift you need to make is the way you view effort. People with a fixed mindset believe that if they have to work hard at something, it means they're not good enough. But those with a growth mindset understand that effort is the key to improvement. They know that success doesn't come overnight, and that real growth happens when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone. So stop shying away from effort. Lean into it. Embrace the process. The more you put into something, the more you'll get out of it. And every drop of effort you give is an investment in your future self. Another crucial aspect of a growth mindset is the ability to seek out feedback. In a fixed mindset, feedback feels like a judgment. It feels personal, like you're being told you're not good enough. But in a growth mindset, feedback is a gift. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. When you actively seek feedback, you open yourself up to growth. You allow others to point out areas where you can improve, and you take that feedback with an open mind, rather than seeing it as criticism. One of the best ways to strengthen your growth mindset is by surrounding yourself with people who have the same mindset. You need to be around individuals who challenge you, who push you, who inspire you to be better. If you're constantly around people who settle for mediocrity, who are stuck in a fixed mindset, it's easy to fall into the same patterns. But when you surround yourself with people who are committed to growth, who believe in continuous improvement, you'll be inspired to do the same. And finally, the key to maintaining a growth mindset is perseverance. Life isn't easy, and it's not always going to go according to plan. But if you keep going, even when things get tough, you'll continue to grow. The path to success isn't a straight line. It's a winding road with twists, turns, and setbacks. But if you stay committed to the process, if you keep working on yourself and your goals every single day, you'll eventually look back and realize how far you've come. So here's the bottom line. You have the power to change your mindset. You have the ability to cultivate a growth mindset that will help you achieve anything you set your mind to. But it won't happen overnight. It's a journey that takes time, effort, and dedication. The key is to keep showing up, keep learning, and keep growing. When you do that, you'll see your life change in ways you never thought possible. Because with the right mindset, nothing is impossible. Chapter 5. Focus like a laser. Master the art of concentration. You've probably heard that focus is everything, right? You've been told countless times that the key to success is narrowing your attention, staying on task, and blocking out distractions. But let's be real for a moment. How often do you actually do it? I mean really focus, without your mind wandering to a million other things. How often do you find yourself scrolling through your phone, watching a show in the background, or getting sidetracked by an email or a notification? If you're anything like most people, probably more often than you'd like to admit. Here's the truth. The ability to focus is the difference between those who make progress and those who stay stuck. It's the defining factor in whether you succeed or fail. In a world full of distractions, constant notifications, endless social media feeds, emails, texts, and everything else, it's never been harder to focus. But that's exactly why it's so important. The ability to focus is becoming more and more rare, which means if you can master it, you'll have an edge over almost everyone else. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. In fact, focusing is a skill that most people never fully develop. But just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. If you're serious about changing your life, about creating something meaningful, about achieving your goals, then you need to learn how to concentrate. You need to make focus your weapon of choice. Let's start by getting one thing straight. Focus is a muscle, just like any other muscle in your body. It requires practice, dedication, and consistent work. If you want to build your focus, you've got to train it. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't expect to suddenly wake up one day and be able to focus for hours on end without any effort. But with the right approach, you can get there. It just takes time, patience, and a willingness to keep pushing, even when it feels difficult. The first step in mastering focus is understanding why it's so hard in the first place. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with distractions. There's a constant stream of information, notifications, and demands on our attention. Our brains are overstimulated, and as a result, we're constantly jumping from one thing to the next without ever truly diving deep into anything. This is why we struggle with focus. We've trained our brains to flit from task to task without giving our full attention to any one thing. But here's the kicker: every time you get distracted, you lose momentum, and it takes longer to get back into a state of focus than it does to just stay focused in the first place. So how do you break this cycle? How do you train your brain to focus on the task at hand, to block out the noise, and to stay present in the moment? The first step is to make a conscious decision to focus. I know it sounds simple, but this is where most people fail. They don't actually choose to focus. Instead, they let their environment dictate their level of concentration. They let the distractions control them. But if you want to take control of your focus, you've got to be intentional about it. Every time you sit down to work, every time you start a new project, you've got to decide that you're going to give it your undivided attention. You've got to be disciplined enough to say no to the distractions and yes to the task in front of you. Once you've made that decision, it's time to create the right environment. You've heard it before, your environment is everything. If you're trying to focus while sitting in a room full of distractions, whether it's your phone buzzing, the TV on in the background, or people talking around you, your chances of staying focused are slim. But if you create a space that's designed for focus, that's quiet, clean, and free from distractions, you'll find it much easier to concentrate. This might mean turning off your phone, closing your email, or setting boundaries with the people around you. It might mean working in a specific location that's dedicated to your work, whether it's a home office, a coffee shop, or a library. The key is to create an environment that supports your focus, not one that works against it. But even with the right environment, focus can still be elusive. This is where the real work comes in. You see, it's not just about eliminating distractions, it's about training your brain to focus for extended periods of time. And this takes practice. The best way to build your focus is through something called single tasking. This is the opposite of multitasking, which most people think is the key to getting things done. But the truth is, multitasking is a myth. When you try to juggle multiple tasks at once, your brain is constantly switching between them, and this actually makes you less efficient. You're not giving any one task the attention it deserves. But when you focus on one thing at a time, when you give it your full attention, you'll be amazed at how much faster and more effectively you can get things done. To build your focus, start by setting a timer for a set period of time, let's say 25 minutes, and commit to working on one task for that entire period. No checking your phone, no checking your email, no getting sidetracked, just focus on that one thing. Once the timer goes off, take a short break, maybe 5 minutes, and then do it again. This is called the Pomodoro technique, and it's an incredibly effective way to build focus and get things done. The key here is consistency. The more you practice focusing for extended periods of time, the better you'll get at it. Over time, you'll be able to focus for longer periods, and the distractions that once seemed so tempting won't even faze you. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I can't just sit there for hours focused on one thing. I have too much to do. And I get it. Life is busy. We all have a million things on our plates. But the truth is, if you want to achieve anything significant, you've got to be willing to make time for focus. If you're constantly jumping from task to task, trying to do everything at once, you'll never make real progress. But if you dedicate even just 1 hour of focused time each day to your most important tasks, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. And here's the thing about focus. It doesn't just apply to work, it applies to everything in your life. Whether you're working on a personal project, having a conversation with a loved one, or even just relaxing and unwinding, the ability to focus makes all the difference. When you're fully present, when you're giving your undivided attention to whatever you're doing, you're able to enjoy it more, experience it more deeply, and get more out of it. That's the power of focus. It's not just about getting things done, it's about living life to the fullest. So here's the challenge: commit to building your focus. Commit to doing the work. Start by setting aside time each day to focus on your most important tasks and eliminate distractions. Practice single tasking. Give yourself the gift of undivided attention. Because when you master focus, you master your life. And once you start seeing the results, once you start achieving things you never thought possible, you'll realize just how powerful the art of concentration really is. So go ahead, take control of your focus. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 6. The Art of Discipline. Develop relentless consistency. Discipline. It's the word you hear over and over again when you listen to successful people. It's the thing they swear by, the trait they say is the foundation of all their achievements. But let's be honest here, discipline is hard. It's the difference between knowing what you should do and actually doing it. It's the difference between saying you want to succeed and showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Here's the truth. Most people think they're undisciplined because they lack motivation, but that's not it at all. Motivation is fleeting, like a spark that burns bright for a few seconds before disappearing. Discipline, on the other hand, is the fire that keeps burning even when the spark has gone out. It's what keeps you going when motivation fades, and you're left with only the decision to either get up or stay stuck. The thing is, discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop. Just like any skill, it takes time, practice, and a willingness to push through discomfort. And I know right now, you're probably thinking, well, that sounds great, but how do I actually make discipline a part of my life? How do I become the person who just does what they need to do, no matter what? It starts with small actions, tiny consistent choices you make every day. The problem is, most people want to jump straight to the big things. They want to change their lives overnight. They think they can just wake up and suddenly be disciplined and successful. But the truth is, you build discipline by showing up for the little things, things that seem insignificant at first, but add up to something big. It's like going to the gym. You don't become strong overnight, but if you show up every day, slowly but surely, you'll get stronger. Here's where most people mess up. They think discipline means doing everything perfectly. They think it's about never making mistakes or never slipping up. But that's a myth. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about getting up and trying again, even when you've had a bad day, even when you fall off track. The key is to keep showing up, no matter what. And eventually those small efforts will add up. You'll look back and realize that the person you've become is the result of all those little decisions, all those moments where you chose to push through the discomfort, to stick to your plan, to do what needed to be done even when it felt hard. But let's be real for a moment. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when your bed is warmer than your to-do list. Days when you're exhausted, distracted, or just not in the mood to grind. And that's when discipline becomes a muscle you have to flex. It's easy to do the work when everything feels right, when the stars align, but true discipline shows up when you least expect it. It shows up when you don't feel like it, when it's hard, and when you'd rather do anything else but the work. That's where the magic happens. Let's take a moment to talk about the power of habits, because they play a huge role in discipline. Think about it. You don't have to think twice about brushing your teeth, right? You don't debate it or talk yourself out of it. You just do it because it's a habit, a routine you've built into your life. The same goes for discipline. If you want to make discipline a permanent part of your life, you need to build habits that support it. But here's the thing about habits. They don't happen overnight. They require time, patience, and a lot of repetition. Start small. Pick one thing you can commit to doing every single day, no matter what. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier to plan your day. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book before bed. Maybe it's going for a short walk every morning. Whatever it is, make it small enough that it's easy to do, but significant enough to make a difference. And don't make excuses. Show up every day, even if it's not perfect. The key is to make it non-negotiable. You're not allowed to talk yourself out of it. Once you've mastered that one small habit, add another. Over time, you'll build a routine of disciplined actions that lead to real progress. And here's the thing, once discipline becomes a habit, it gets easier. It doesn't feel like a struggle anymore. It becomes just another part of your day. Like breathing. You don't think twice about it, you just do it. But here's something else you need to understand. Discipline isn't just about doing the work. It's about taking care of yourself so you can actually show up and do the work. Discipline means taking care of your health, your mind, and your energy. It means getting enough sleep, eating well, and exercising. It means setting boundaries with the people around you and protecting your time. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't have the energy or the mental clarity to stay disciplined. One of the biggest obstacles to discipline is lack of energy. You can't be disciplined if you're constantly running on empty. That's why self-care is a form of discipline. It's the foundation for everything else. So, if you're serious about developing discipline, you need to start by taking care of your body and your mind. Sleep isn't optional. Exercise isn't optional. Eating well isn't optional. These things give you the fuel you need to stay consistent, to stay disciplined, and to keep going even when it gets tough. And one last thing, don't beat yourself up when you slip up. It happens to everyone. The key is not to let one slip-up turn into a full-blown failure. You're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. What matters is that you get back on track as quickly as possible. Don't let guilt or shame stop you from continuing on your path. Every day is a new opportunity to start again. The more you practice discipline, the more natural it will become. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about committing to the process, trusting the journey, and knowing that the work you're putting in today is shaping the person you'll become tomorrow. So, make discipline a part of your life. Build it into your routine, make it non-negotiable, and never give up on yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and your goals is the discipline to keep going. If you can master that, there's nothing you can't accomplish. The power is in your hands. It always has been. Chapter 7. Fear is your friend, Pert. Turn fear into motivation. Fear, it's the thing that holds most of us back. It's the voice inside our heads telling us that we're not good enough, not ready, or not strong enough. It's the thing that stops us from taking action, from chasing our dreams, from becoming who we were meant to be. But here's the kicker. Fear is not your enemy. In fact, fear can be your greatest ally. It can be the fuel that drives you forward, the force that pushes you to rise up and take action. but only if you let it. Here's the truth. Fear is normal. It's part of being human. Every successful person, every high achiever, every person who has ever done something great has felt fear. It's the thing that makes us human. It's what we do with that fear that matters. You can choose to let it paralyze you, to keep you stuck, or you can choose to turn it into motivation. The choice is yours. Think about it for a moment. What is fear really? It's just a feeling, a response to something unknown or uncertain. Fear tells us that something important is at stake. It's like a signal, warning us that we're about to step outside of our comfort zone, that we're about to do something that could change our lives. But here's the thing, change doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when we push past the fear, when we take action in spite of it. The problem is that most of us don't see fear for what it is. We let it control us. We let it dictate our decisions. We avoid things that scare us because we think that's the safe choice. But what we don't realize is that avoiding fear is actually the most dangerous thing we can do. Because every time we avoid something that scares us, we're giving away our power. We're telling ourselves that we're not capable, not worthy, or not strong enough. And the more we listen to that voice, the weaker we become. Instead, we need to flip the script. We need to start seeing fear as a sign that we're on the right path, that we're moving in the direction of growth. When you feel fear, it's not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you should keep going. Fear is the signal that you're about to break through, that you're about to do something big. And here's the secret. The more you lean into that fear, the stronger you become. The more you step into the unknown, the more you build your confidence, your resilience, and your belief in yourself. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, that sounds great in theory, but how do I actually do that? How do I take action when I'm scared out of my mind? Well, let's break it down. First, you need to change the way you think about fear. Stop seeing it as something to be avoided and start seeing it as a signal of growth. Fear is not a roadblock, it's a signpost. It's showing you where you need to go. When you feel that fear, don't run from it. Embrace it. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to tell me? What does it mean? Most of the time, it's telling you that you're on the verge of something important, something that could change your life. And instead of backing down, you need to lean in. The next step is to break fear down into smaller pieces. When you're scared, it can feel overwhelming, like you're facing a mountain you can never climb. But the truth is, no mountain is too big if you break it down into manageable steps. So instead of focusing on the entire challenge in front of you, focus on the next small step you can take. Take action on that one step, and then take the next one. Before you know it, you'll be moving past your fear and making progress. One of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking that we have to feel fearless to take action. That's a lie. You don't have to feel fearless. You just have to take action anyway. The fear will never go away completely. It will always be there, lurking in the background. But what you can do is take action in spite of it. And the more you do that, the more you'll realize that fear has no power over you. The more you take action, the more you build your confidence, and the less control fear has over you. Another key to overcoming fear is to shift your focus. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, focus on what could go right. Fear often comes from the stories we tell ourselves, the what-ifs that we spin in our minds. What if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm not good enough? But here's the thing, those what-ifs are just stories. They're not reality. The truth is, you have no idea what will happen until you take action. So instead of focusing on all the things that could go wrong, start focusing on all the things that could go right. Imagine the success, the growth, the lessons you'll learn, and the person you'll become on the other side. Shift your mindset from fear to possibility and watch how everything changes. And here's one more thing. Fear thrives on isolation. It gets stronger when you try to face it alone. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who encourage you, people who push you to take risks and step outside of your comfort zone. When you have a support system, fear doesn't seem so scary. You don't have to do it alone. You're not in this fight by yourself. There are people who believe in you, who are ready to cheer you on every step of the way. At the end of the day, fear is not something to be feared, it's something to be used. It's a tool, a signal, and a teacher. The more you embrace it, the more you step into it, the more you'll realize that fear has nothing on you. It's a feeling, a temporary emotion that can't stop you unless you let it. So the next time fear shows up at your door, don't run away. Don't hide. Open the door, invite it in, and let it show you the way. Because on the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. Fear is not your enemy. It's your friend, your motivator, your teacher. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it propel you to greatness. Don't let fear stop you. Let it push you to move forward, to take action, and to live the life you were meant to live. Chapter 8. Resilience, bounce back stronger every time. It's the thing that keeps you going when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's the inner strength that allows you to rise again after you've been knocked down. Life doesn't always go the way we plan it. There will be setbacks, failures, and obstacles that seem impossible to overcome. But the truth is, resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's about how you respond to it. It's about how you choose to rise after falling, how you keep going even when the path gets tough. I want you to think about the most difficult time in your life. Maybe it was a personal loss, a failure in your career, or a setback that made you question everything. It could have been something that made you want to give up, to walk away, to throw in the towel. Now, think about what happened after that. If you're still here, still fighting, still pushing forward, that's resilience. That's the ability to endure, to face adversity and keep moving. But here's the thing, resilience is not a trait you're born with. It's something you build, something you develop over time. It's like a muscle that gets stronger, the more you use it. Every time you face a challenge and choose to keep going, you strengthen that muscle. Every time you hit a wall and figure out a way around it, you become more resilient. The people who seem to bounce back from adversity the quickest are the ones who've built resilience over years of facing challenges. They've learned how to adapt, how to grow from their experiences, and how to rise again, no matter how many times life knocks them down. Now, let's break this down. Resilience doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It doesn't mean you won't struggle or feel defeated at times. In fact, resilience is most visible when you're in the midst of a storm. It's the ability to keep going even when you don't feel like it. It's about having the courage to face the tough days, the bad days, and the days when you feel like giving up and still pushing forward. The first key to building resilience is accepting that life is not always going to be easy. There will be hardships, challenges, and setbacks. We all face them. Whether it's a failed project, a missed opportunity, or a personal loss, we all experience moments where it feels like things aren't going according to plan. And it's easy in those moments to feel like giving up, like it's just not worth it anymore. But what separates the people who rise above their challenges from those who stay stuck is how they view those moments. When life knocks you down, your first instinct may be to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" or "Why is this so hard?" But instead of asking why, Ask what you can learn from it. Ask yourself, what can I take away from this experience? What is this teaching me? Resilient people don't dwell on the negative. They don't let themselves get stuck in the why me mindset. Instead, they focus on finding solutions, on growing from the experience, and on using the challenge as fuel for their next step forward. Building resilience also means embracing failure as a part of the process. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you tried something new and failed? Maybe it was starting a new business, trying a new workout routine, or attempting something outside your comfort zone. I know, it's not fun. But here's the thing, failure isn't the end. It's a lesson. It's feedback. It's the universe showing you what works and what doesn't. And if you can reframe failure as a necessary part of the journey, you'll begin to develop resilience. Failure isn't something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. The most successful people in the world have failed time and time again. But they didn't quit. They didn't let failure define them. Instead, they got back up, learned from their mistakes, and tried again. They turned their failures into stepping stones, each one bringing them closer to success. So the next time you fail, don't beat yourself up. Don't let it take you down. Learn from it, grow from it, and keep moving forward. That's the true meaning of resilience. Another key to resilience is having a clear sense of purpose. When you know why you're doing something, when you have a deep burning desire to achieve a goal or fulfill a mission, you can face any obstacle that comes your way. Purpose gives you the strength to keep going when things get tough. It gives you something to hold on to when the storm is raging around you. Without purpose, it's easy to give up when life gets hard. But when you have a strong sense of why, nothing can stop you. Think about a time when you had a goal that meant everything to you. Maybe it was completing a big project, finishing a race, or achieving something that felt impossible. Did you face obstacles along the way? Absolutely. But did you quit? No. You kept going because that goal meant something to you. That's the power of purpose. When you know why you're doing something, you have the strength to push through anything. Now, here's the secret to building resilience. Don't go at it alone. You don't have to face life's challenges by yourself. Having a support system is crucial to resilience. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who encourage you when you feel down, and people who help you pick yourself back up when you fall. Resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's about knowing when to ask for help, when to lean on others, and when to share your struggles. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your own. There's strength in vulnerability, and there's power in asking for support. And finally, let me tell you something. Resilience is about self-compassion. When you're going through tough times, it's easy to be hard on yourself. You tell yourself you should be stronger, that you should handle things better, or that you should just push through. But resilience isn't about beating yourself up. It's about being kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. It's about giving yourself permission to feel, to rest, and to recover. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself. Be patient with yourself. And when you fall, don't stay down for too long. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Chapter 9. Action over words. Stop talking, start doing. It's the difference between dreaming about your future and actually living it. We all have big goals and grand ambitions, but how many of us actually follow through? How many of us sit back and talk about what we want to do, but never seem to take that first step? The truth is, action is the secret ingredient to success. Without it, all the motivation, inspiration, and plans in the world won't amount to anything. It's time to stop talking and start doing. It's time to realize that the future isn't something that's going to magically appear. You have to create it. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you had a great idea or set a huge goal only to let it sit on the back burner because you didn't know where to start? Maybe you've said to yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll figure it out later." But tomorrow turns into the next day, and the next, and before you know it, weeks, months, or even years have passed. That dream you once had, it's still just that, a dream. The problem is, you've let your ideas and desires gather dust instead of breathing life into them. And here's the kicker, you're the only one who can change that. You have the power to take action today, right now, to start moving toward your goals and make things happen. I want you to think of a time when you took action. Not just any action, but the kind of action that required courage, effort, and commitment. Maybe it was a project at work, a personal goal you set, or a time when you decided to make a big change in your life. Remember how it felt to take that first step. It probably wasn't easy. It might have been uncomfortable, even scary. But once you made the decision to act, everything shifted, didn't it? The wheels started turning, the momentum built, and before you knew it, you were on your way. Action creates momentum, and momentum is what drives you forward. Now, here's the thing. We often think of action as a big grand gesture. We imagine that in order to make a difference, we need to take massive life-altering steps all at once. But the truth is, the biggest change comes from consistent small actions. The key isn't in waiting for the perfect moment to take the perfect action. It's about getting started, no matter how small the step may seem. Each action you take, no matter how minor, brings you one step closer to where you want to be. And before you know it, those small steps add up, creating a path of progress you never saw coming. You see, in the grand scheme of things, success doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of thousands of small decisions and actions. It's about making the choice to get up each day and do something, even when you don't feel like it. And trust me, there will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be times when you wake up and your mind is full of doubts, when your energy is low, or when the obstacles ahead of you feel impossible to overcome. But in those moments, the difference between success and failure is action. Even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't know exactly how you're going to reach your goal, taking action, any action, moves you closer to where you want to be. It's easy to get stuck in the trap of overthinking. We all do it. We spend hours, days, weeks, even months planning, analyzing, and worrying about every possible outcome. We obsess over the details, trying to get everything perfect before we even begin. But here's the truth, perfection doesn't exist. Waiting for the right moment or the perfect plan is just another form of procrastination. You'll never have all the answers, and you'll never know everything ahead of time. The only way to learn and grow is by taking action. You don't need to have it all figured out. What you need is the courage to start. When you take that first step, even if it's just a small one, you'll start to see things more clearly. You'll learn what works and what doesn't. You'll gain clarity along the way. The only way to truly learn is by doing. So stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Start where you are, with what you have, and make it happen. You'll be amazed at how quickly things begin to unfold once you take that first step. But let me tell you something, taking action isn't always easy. It requires discipline, focus, and the willingness to push through discomfort. We all have moments of hesitation, times when we doubt ourselves and question whether our actions will lead to anything. It's natural to feel that way. But in those moments, remind yourself of the truth. You will never know what's possible until you try. Action is the only way to unlock your potential. It's the only way to make progress. And when you look back, you'll realize that every step you took, no matter how small, was a crucial part of your journey. Here's the beauty of taking action. It doesn't matter how fast you go, as long as you don't stop. Progress is progress, no matter how slow it may seem. And every time you take action, you're building the habit of success. You're training your mind to think in terms of solutions, not problems. You're showing yourself that you have what it takes to move forward, even when it's tough. The more you take action, the easier it becomes to take the next step. And the next, before you know it, you'll look up and realize you're farther along than you ever thought possible. So, what's stopping you? What's holding you back from taking that first step? Is it fear of failure? Fear of the unknown? Or maybe it's just the uncertainty of whether it will be worth it. Let me tell you this, you will never know what you're capable of until you give yourself the chance to find out. Taking action is your invitation to greatness. It's your opportunity to prove to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can overcome obstacles, and that you have the strength to achieve your goals. The bottom line is this: if you want to see change in your life, you have to take action. You can dream all day long, plan all day long, but until you take that first step, nothing will happen. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everything to fall into place. Start now, start small, and keep moving forward. Action is the key to unlocking your future. It's the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. And once you start, you'll never look back. Keep moving, keep taking action, and watch your life transform. Chapter 10. Master your time. Time is your most valuable resource. Time is a funny thing. It moves in ways that seem both predictable and unpredictable at the same time. You wake up, go through your day, and before you know it, another day has passed. Another week, month, and suddenly, years. It's easy to get lost in the daily shuffle, to feel like you're always catching up, or always trying to fit in one more thing. But here's the truth. Time is the one resource you'll never get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And that's why mastering how you use your time is not just important, it's everything. You've probably heard people say that time is money. But what if I told you time is far more valuable than money? With money, you can always make more. You can earn, invest, or even win more. But with time, once it's gone, there's no going back. You can't save it up. You can't pause it. It keeps moving forward, regardless of what you do. So, how are you using it? Are you spending your days purposefully? Or are you simply filling your time with distractions, making it seem like you're busy when you're actually not moving any closer to your goals? Think about this for a moment. What would happen if you treated your time like your most valuable asset? If you started seeing each hour, each minute, as a precious opportunity to build something meaningful? What if you stopped letting distractions take over and instead focused that time on the things that really matter? It's easy to get caught up in the noise of life. The endless to-do lists, the social media notifications, the constant bombardment of information. But what if you could cut through all of that and focus your attention where it truly counts? The secret isn't in working harder, it's in working smarter. It's about being intentional with your time, setting clear priorities, and sticking to them. Think about a time when you really focused on something. Maybe it was a project at work, a personal goal you set, or even just a quiet moment spent with someone you care about. You probably felt like the world slowed down a little bit. You were completely immersed in the task at hand, and time didn't feel like it was slipping away. That's what happens when you're intentional with your time. When you focus on one thing at a time, instead of scattering your energy in 100 different directions, time stops feeling like it's running out and starts feeling like it's working for you. But here's the catch: mastering your time requires discipline. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to give in to the temptation of procrastination or the lure of immediate gratification. And yet, every time you do that, you're stealing from your future. You're taking away the very resource that could help you achieve your dreams. Every time you choose something that doesn't align with your bigger goals, you're making a choice to spend your time on something that won't help you grow. And that's where the power of self-discipline comes in. Discipline isn't about being rigid or overly controlling. It's about making choices that honor your time and your potential. It's about saying no to the things that don't matter, so you can say yes to the things that do. It's about setting boundaries for yourself and sticking to them, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about understanding that every moment you waste is a moment you'll never get back. And once you realize that, you begin to treat time with the respect it deserves. The truth is, time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your distractions. It doesn't care about your fears or your doubts. It simply moves forward. And that's why it's so important to get intentional with how you use it. The good news: you have the power to choose how you spend every minute of every day. You can decide whether to binge watch TV or invest that time in learning something new, whether to scroll through social media or write the next chapter of your book, whether to put off your workout or get up and move your body. The choice is yours, and the power is in your hands. But making those choices requires awareness. It requires an understanding of how you're spending your time right now. How many times do you check your phone during the day? How often do you find yourself scrolling through endless streams of content without even realizing it? It's easy to let time slip away like that, without giving it a second thought. But what if you took a step back and really examined how you're using your time? What if you started tracking how much of your day is spent on things that don't serve you? You don't have to be perfect. In fact, trying to be perfect is part of the problem. Perfection can paralyze you. Instead of focusing on doing things perfectly, focus on doing things purposefully. Be intentional. That's the key to mastering your time, being fully present in whatever you're doing, whether it's a major project or a small task. Every moment is an opportunity, and when you begin to treat it like that, you start to see the value in each and every minute. And here's something else to keep in mind. Time isn't just about what you do, it's also about when you do it. If you're constantly trying to squeeze everything into the cracks of your day, you're setting yourself up for failure. Time isn't about multitasking, it's about focus. The more focused you are, the more you can accomplish in a shorter amount of time. So, if you want to really master your time, start by organizing your day in a way that works with your natural rhythm. Are you most productive in the morning? Then block off time for your most important work during those hours. Are you better at night? Then set up your schedule to take advantage of those late-night bursts of energy. The key is to align your tasks with your peak performance times. But let's not forget one of the most important factors when it comes to time. We often think of time management as something that's all about productivity, but the truth is, rest is just as important. You can't be productive if you're constantly running on empty. You need time to recharge, to clear your mind, and to regain your energy. Without rest, everything you do becomes a grind, and the quality of your work diminishes. So don't overlook the importance of downtime. Make sure to build moments of rest into your schedule and recognize that taking care of yourself is part of managing your time effectively. When you learn to master your time, you take control of your life. You stop letting the days slip by without purpose, and you begin to create the life you've always wanted. But it all starts with one thing: making the choice to value your time. It's about recognizing that every moment is an opportunity, and that time is the most precious resource you have. Once you truly internalize that, everything changes. You start to prioritize what matters, eliminate what doesn't, and use your time to build the life you want. And that's how you take back control, 1 minute at a time. Chapter 11. Commit to excellence. Set high standards for yourself. Imagine waking up every single day knowing that you're striving towards something bigger than yourself. That you're not just going through the motions, but actively setting the bar higher and higher for yourself. Think about what it would feel like to have that relentless drive, to never settle for mediocrity, and to consistently push yourself toward excellence. It's not some lofty idea or an unreachable goal, it's entirely within your reach. You just have to make the commitment to hold yourself to a higher standard. When you decide to do that, you not only elevate your own life, but you inspire those around you to do the same. Setting high standards for yourself isn't about perfection, but it's about committing to do your best every day. It's about making sure that everything you do is done with purpose, with intention, and with the understanding that you're capable of more than you think. You don't have to wait for someone else to set the bar for you. You can set it yourself, and once you do, everything changes. The difference between those who achieve remarkable things and those who simply get by is often found in the expectations they have for themselves. It's not about being born with some kind of innate talent or luck. It's about deciding each day that you are going to show up as the best version of yourself, no matter what. It's about refusing to accept anything less than excellence in your actions, in your work, and in the way you show up in the world. But here's the key: setting high standards isn't about being rigid or unrealistic. It's not about punishing yourself when you fall short. It's about consistently striving for greatness, even if you don't always reach it. It's the journey that shapes you. The effort you put in every day creates the person you become. When you commit to excellence, you start to build momentum. Every small effort, every day of doing your best, begins to compound and leads to bigger results. And it's not just the big moments that matter, it's the little ones too. The effort you put into making your morning routine better, the small improvements you make in your work habits, the way you show up for others, and the way you choose to spend your time, all of those choices matter. They add up. But I know it's easy to get overwhelmed. You might be sitting there thinking, I don't have what it takes to set high standards for myself. I'm not cut out for this. You might feel like you're too far behind, or that your current circumstances make it impossible to aim higher. And that's exactly why setting high standards is so powerful. It forces you to see past your limitations and to recognize your own potential. It challenges you to stretch yourself and do the things you didn't think you could do. Think of the most successful people you admire. What makes them stand out? It's not their circumstances, it's not their luck. It's the fact that they've made excellence their baseline. They've made the decision to do their best in every situation, even when it's difficult, even when it feels like it's not worth it. They push themselves further than most people are willing to go, and that's why they're able to accomplish so much. But you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do everything at once. The key is consistency. Excellence doesn't happen overnight. It's the small choices you make each day that build towards something greater. It's about showing up and giving your best effort, even if your best today isn't the same as it was yesterday. The important thing is that you're always moving forward. You're always striving for more. You're always pushing the boundaries of what you thought was possible. This doesn't mean you won't face setbacks or make mistakes along the way. It's part of the process. The path to excellence is never linear. It's messy, but that's where the growth happens. When you stumble, when you fall short, that's when you learn the most about yourself. You learn what you're capable of when things don't go according to plan. You learn how to get back up, how to adjust, and how to keep moving forward. It's in those moments of adversity that you build the resilience that will carry you toward your goals. So, what does setting high standards look like on a daily basis? It's about doing the little things with excellence. It's about not settling for good enough. When you're working on a project, don't just do the bare minimum, go above and beyond. When you're dealing with a challenge, don't back down. Face it head on and figure out how to overcome it. When you interact with people, don't just be polite. Be kind, be generous, be someone who others can rely on. Setting high standards also means taking ownership of your own growth. You can't wait for someone else to push you to do better. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader, but also your toughest critic. When you look at your work, ask yourself, is this the best I can do? Could I have given more? And when you answer that question, be honest with yourself. Don't let excuses cloud your judgment. Don't let fear of failure stop you from aiming higher. You'll find that when you raise your standards, everything else in your life starts to improve too. The people you surround yourself with will start to elevate as well. You'll begin to attract opportunities that match your new level of commitment. The quality of your work will improve. The way you show up in your relationships will deepen. Everything starts to shift when you decide that you're going to do things with excellence. But don't wait for the perfect moment to get started. The best time to set high standards for yourself is now. The longer you wait, the more time you waste. It's easy to think that you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow always turns into next week, and next week turns into next month. The truth is, the time is always now. The more you delay, the more you reinforce the habit of procrastination, and the harder it becomes to take action. So, make the decision today to raise your standards. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what carries you through. Discipline is what allows you to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what transforms your potential into action, and that's what ultimately leads to success. As you raise your standards, you'll find that your confidence grows. You'll start believing in yourself more, because you'll see that you're capable of achieving more than you thought. You'll begin to realize that you're not limited by your circumstances, your past, or your doubts. You are capable of excellence in everything you do. Remember, excellence isn't about being perfect. It's about consistently doing your best and refusing to settle for less. It's about showing up every day and giving it everything you've got. When you do that, you'll start to see your life transform. You'll start to realize that you have the power to create the future you want. One decision, one action, and one moment of excellence at a time. Chapter 12. Eliminate distractions, build laser-like focus. The world is full of distractions, each one pulling at our attention, trying to lead us in 1,000 different directions. If you let them, they will scatter your energy and dilute your efforts. It's so easy to get caught up in the noise, the endless notifications, the constant need to check in with people, the pressure to respond to every email, every text, every request. Before you know it, the hours slip away, and you've accomplished very little. But here's the truth. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to let distractions rule your life. Imagine what it would feel like if you could truly concentrate on what matters most. Imagine waking up every day with laser-like focus, attacking your goals with determination and precision. How much more could you achieve if you weren't constantly interrupted by the world around you? Focus isn't just about getting more done. It's about getting the right things done. It's about putting your energy into the things that will move you forward, that will bring you closer to your dreams, that will help you grow. It's all about control. You control where your attention goes. You control how deeply you immerse yourself in a task. You control the level of effort you put in, and ultimately, you control the results. So why is it so hard to focus? Why do we find ourselves slipping into distractions time and time again, even when we know they're not helping us? It's because we haven't trained ourselves to focus. In a world full of distractions, we've become accustomed to jumping from one thing to another, thinking that multitasking will get us ahead. But the truth is, multitasking isn't the solution, it's the enemy of progress. It spreads our attention too thin and weakens our ability to truly dive deep into one task. The first step to mastering focus is understanding that it requires discipline. It requires you to make a conscious decision to tune out the noise and commit to what's in front of you. It means saying no to the temptations that would pull you away from your work and creating an environment where you can concentrate fully. You need to understand that focus isn't something that happens automatically, it's something you have to build. Just like a muscle, your ability to concentrate strengthens the more you use it. It's about practice. It's about creating the right habits that allow you to give your full attention to what's in front of you. One of the best ways to start building focus is by setting clear intentions. Before you dive into any task, ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish in this moment? This simple question helps center your mind and clarifies your purpose. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to wander off course and get caught in distractions. But when you know exactly what you're aiming for, it's much easier to stay on track. A key part of focus is eliminating the things that draw your attention away. If you want to master focus, you have to start by controlling your environment. Put your phone on silent, turn off the notifications, and close the tabs that don't serve your goal. If you're working on something important, make sure there's nothing around you that could distract you. Don't just hope that you can fight the urge to check your social media or respond to that text message. Take proactive steps to eliminate the temptation entirely. This is where your discipline really comes into play. It's easy to give in to distractions when you don't have a clear plan for handling them. But when you take control and intentionally design your environment to foster focus, you make it much easier to stay on task. It's also important to set boundaries. If you're trying to focus, make it clear to those around you that you need uninterrupted time. Let people know when you're working and when you're available. People often fall into the trap of thinking they need to be available all the time, but that's not true. You don't have to answer every email the moment it comes in, or drop what you're doing to respond to every phone call. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and self-discipline. It's about valuing your time and protecting it from unnecessary interruptions. Another crucial aspect of focus is creating structure. When your day is chaotic and unplanned, it's easy to get lost in distractions. But when you create a schedule and commit to sticking to it, you give yourself the structure you need to stay focused. Break your day into blocks of time dedicated to specific tasks. Each time block is a mini goal, a focused period of time in which you can give your full attention to what you're working on. This structure helps keep you grounded and prevents your mind from wandering off into other, less important things. You may be thinking, but I'm just not good at focusing. I always get distracted. Well, let me tell you something. Focus is not something you're born with. It's something you cultivate. And yes, it can be challenging, especially at first. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. Start small. Try focusing for just 10 or 20 minutes at a time, and then gradually increase the duration as you get better. Over time, you'll find that your ability to focus becomes stronger, and what once seemed difficult will start to feel effortless. Another powerful technique is the Pomodoro method. This method involves working in short, intense bursts of focus, followed by brief breaks. You set a timer for 25 minutes and work without interruption during that time. Once the timer goes off, you take a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, you take a longer break, usually around 20 to 30 minutes. This method keeps you sharp, prevents burnout, and helps you maintain focus over longer periods of time. It's a simple but incredibly effective way to train your brain to concentrate. As you begin to master your focus, you'll notice something amazing. Your productivity will skyrocket. You'll be able to get more done in less time, and the quality of your work will improve. You'll start accomplishing things that once seemed impossible. But the true power of focus isn't just about productivity, it's about presence. When you focus on something, you give it your full attention, and that attention brings energy to the task at hand. It's not just about checking off items on your to-do list. It's about showing up fully, being present in every moment, and giving your best to everything you do. It's also about clarity. When you're focused, you're able to think more clearly. Your mind isn't cluttered with a million things at once. You can solve problems more effectively, make better decisions, and come up with creative solutions. Focus helps you tap into your full potential and unlock your inner brilliance. But let's be real, distractions will always be around. The key isn't to eliminate them completely, it's to develop the mental strength to ignore them when they arise. The more you practice focus, the more automatic it becomes. It's like a muscle that strengthens over time. And just like any muscle, it will get sore, it will get tired, and it will require rest. But if you keep working at it, it will become stronger, and the distractions that once seemed so powerful will start to lose their grip on you. When you learn to master focus, you become unstoppable. You start to move through life with purpose and intention. Your goals are no longer distant dreams, they're within your reach, and every action you take brings you closer to them. You'll begin to realize that your time is precious, and you're no longer willing to waste a single second. You'll realize that you're capable of far more than you ever thought possible. So start today. Take control of your focus. Eliminate the distractions, set your intentions, and watch as your life begins to change in ways you never imagined. The power to focus is the power to transform your entire world. Chapter 13. The Power of No. Prioritize what matters most. It's easy to think that saying yes is the way to be liked, to be helpful, to be successful. After all, don't we need to please others to get ahead in life? Don't we need to show that we're available, eager and willing to do whatever it takes to make things happen? At some point, we're all guilty of overcommitting ourselves, taking on too much, trying to meet everyone's expectations, and along the way we start to lose ourselves in the process. We start to feel overwhelmed, overworked, and stretched thin. We find ourselves doing things we don't really want to do, for people who might not even appreciate our efforts. And yet we keep saying yes because we feel guilty, or because we think it's the right thing to do. The truth is, the constant need to please others and the inability to say no can be one of the biggest obstacles to your success, your happiness, and your peace of mind. But here's the secret: learning the power of no is one of the most important skills you can develop. It's not about being rude or shutting people out. It's about creating space in your life for the things that truly matter. It's about honoring your time and energy and protecting your focus so that you can pour your efforts into the pursuits that will help you grow, achieve, and make an impact. It might feel uncomfortable at first. Saying no might make you worry that you're letting someone down, that you're missing an opportunity, or that people will think less of you. But the reality is, saying no is often the most empowering thing you can do. It allows you to say yes to the things that align with your purpose, your values, and your goals. It clears the clutter from your life and makes room for what truly matters. Think about how much time and energy you waste by saying yes to everything that comes your way. Every new request, every new project, every new favor pulls you away from what's truly important. When you constantly say yes, you're essentially telling the universe that you have an infinite amount of time and energy to give. But the truth is, you're human, and there's only so much you can do in a day. So by saying yes to everything, you're spreading yourself too thin and diluting the impact you can make. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect. It's about acknowledging that your time, your energy, and your attention are valuable. And the more you learn to say no when necessary, the more control you gain over your life. You start to take ownership of your choices, your commitments, and your direction. You start to prioritize the things that matter most to you and let go of the distractions that only drain you. But how do you know when to say no? It's not always easy, and it requires self-awareness. Start by getting clear on what your priorities are. What are the things that are most important to you right now? What are your long-term goals? Once you've identified what truly matters, it becomes easier to evaluate whether a new request, opportunity, or obligation aligns with those goals. If it doesn't, then it's time to say no. For example, imagine someone asks you to take on a project at work that you don't have the time or energy for. If you've already committed to other important tasks, if this project doesn't align with your goals, and if it won't move you closer to where you want to be, then the best thing you can do is say no. It's not about being selfish or dismissive. It's about being responsible with your time and honoring your capacity. This doesn't mean that you never help anyone or that you turn down every opportunity that comes your way. There are times when saying yes is important, but only when it aligns with your values and your mission. The key is to become intentional with your choices. Every time you say yes to something, ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Is this taking me in the direction I want to go? If the answer is no, then saying no becomes an act of self-preservation and self-care. It's also crucial to remember that you don't have to justify your no. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing what's best for you. If someone asks you to do something and you don't want to do it, simply say no with confidence. If they press you for a reason, you can politely explain, but you don't have to over-explain or apologize. Your time and energy are yours to manage, and you get to decide how to spend them. Over time, you'll find that saying no becomes easier. You'll begin to feel more empowered as you recognize that every no you say is a step closer to your true goals. You'll stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first, and instead you'll feel proud of your ability to set boundaries. And as you make this a habit, you'll start to see your life shift. You'll feel less stressed, more focused, and more aligned with what truly matters. Another important aspect of learning to say no is recognizing the difference between what's urgent and what's important. Many of the requests that come our way feel urgent. Someone needs something from us, or a deadline is looming, but that doesn't mean they're actually important. Urgency often comes from outside forces, while importance comes from within. It's easy to get caught up in the urgency of others' needs, but when you learn to filter out the noise and focus on what's truly important to you, you regain control of your time. Think about the people in your life. Some of them will respect your boundaries, and others might try to push them. But as you get more comfortable saying no, you'll become less afraid of disappointing others. You'll learn that saying no isn't about rejecting people, it's about protecting your own well-being. And anyone who truly respects you will understand that. You'll also start to recognize that saying no doesn't just protect your time, it protects your energy. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Saying yes to too many things can drain your energy, leaving you feeling tired and burnt out. But when you say no to the things that don't matter, you conserve your energy for the things that truly fuel you. You can then show up with more enthusiasm, more creativity, and more passion in the areas that are most important to you. And here's something important to keep in mind. Saying no to others is also saying yes to yourself. Every time you decline an invitation, a project, or a request that doesn't serve you, you're creating space for your own growth, your own peace, and your own happiness. You're honoring your needs and your goals, and that's the ultimate form of self-care. In the end, the power of no is about freedom. It's about taking back control over your time and your life. When you learn to say no to distractions, to obligations that don't serve you, and to things that don't align with your vision, you make room for what truly matters. You get to say yes to the things that will bring you joy, fulfillment, and success. So take a moment and think about what you're saying yes to in your life right now. Are there things you're holding on to out of obligation, guilt, or fear? It's time to let go. Say no to what's holding you back and make space for what will propel you forward. You'll be amazed at how much lighter, more focused, and more empowered you'll feel. Remember, your time is precious, and you deserve to spend it on the things that matter most to you. Chapter 14, Self-Talk Mastery. Reframe your inner dialogue. Your inner voice is constantly speaking to you. Every moment of the day, it's there, whispering thoughts, urging you to act, reminding you of your goals, your fears, your doubts, your strengths, and your weaknesses. This voice, often referred to as self-talk, has a profound impact on the way you experience life. It shapes your beliefs, influences your decisions, and ultimately defines your actions. But here's the problem. Most of the time, we don't realize that the voice inside our heads isn't always telling the truth. In fact, it can be downright misleading. It can feed us lies, amplify our insecurities, and push us away from our potential. If you've ever caught yourself thinking things like, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never succeed," or "I'll never be able to change," you've experienced the power of negative self-talk. And let me tell you, negative self-talk is one of the most destructive forces in your life. It can keep you stuck in a loop of fear, doubt, and procrastination, preventing you from reaching your full potential. The good news is, you have the power to change this. You have the ability to reframe your inner dialogue and take control of the narrative that shapes your reality. The first step in mastering your self-talk is understanding its nature. Think about the way you talk to yourself. How do you react when you face a challenge? What do you tell yourself when you make a mistake? Are you kind and encouraging, or do you beat yourself up and dwell on your failures? Most of us have been conditioned to be our own harshest critics. We've internalized the voices of others, parents, teachers, friends, society, that told us we weren't good enough, that we couldn't achieve our dreams, that we should play it safe and avoid failure at all costs. This conditioning runs deep, and it's easy to get caught up in the negative spiral. But what if you could change that? What if you could shift the way you speak to yourself and transform your entire outlook on life? What if you could replace self-doubt with self-belief, fear with confidence, and procrastination with action? The key is to become aware of your self-talk and take responsibility for it. This might sound simple, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. The next time you catch yourself thinking something negative, pause. Take a moment to observe the thought. Is it true? Is it helping you? Is it moving you closer to your goals? More often than not, you'll realize that these thoughts are neither true nor helpful. They're just stories you've been telling yourself for far too long. Once you're aware of your negative self-talk, it's time to challenge it. You don't have to accept everything your mind tells you. Instead, question it. Ask yourself, is this thought based on fact, or is it just fear? What's the evidence for this belief? How would I respond to a friend who was thinking this way? You'll be surprised at how many of your thoughts are rooted in fear, insecurity, or past experiences rather than objective truth. By challenging these thoughts, you begin to take away their power over you. Now let's talk about reframing. Reframing is the art of changing the way you perceive a situation. It's about looking at things from a different perspective and choosing a more empowering narrative. If your inner voice is telling you, "I'll never succeed," reframe it to something like, "Success is a process, and I'm learning and growing every day." If you're telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," reframe it to, "I have unique strengths and abilities, and I'm capable of achieving great things." By changing the story you tell yourself, you change the way you feel and the way you act. Another powerful tool in mastering your self-talk is the use of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that reinforce your self-worth, your abilities, and your potential. These statements are more than just feel-good mantras. They're a way to reprogram your subconscious mind. When you repeat affirmations consistently, you begin to shift your beliefs and create new neural pathways that support your goals. For example, if you struggle with self-doubt, an affirmation like, "I am confident and capable of handling any challenge," can gradually replace those limiting thoughts with empowering ones. But here's the catch. Affirmations don't work if you don't believe them. You can't just say, "I'm a millionaire," if deep down you don't believe you deserve financial success. Instead, start with affirmations that feel true to you. If you're working on building confidence, start with something like, "I am becoming more confident every day," and gradually work your way up to more powerful statements. The key is to be consistent and persistent. It's also important to understand that your self-talk doesn't just affect your mindset, it affects your actions. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed, you'll likely avoid taking risks, shy away from opportunities, and procrastinate on important tasks. But when you start changing your self-talk, you begin to take more decisive action. You'll be more willing to try new things, to make mistakes, and to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Your inner dialogue becomes the fuel that drives you forward, instead of the weight that holds you back. One of the most powerful ways to reprogram your self-talk is through visualization. Visualization is a technique used by many successful people, from athletes to entrepreneurs, to mentally rehearse their goals and success. When you visualize yourself succeeding, whether it's acing a presentation, finishing a marathon, or landing your dream job, You're training your mind to believe that success is not only possible, but inevitable. By combining visualization with positive self-talk, you create a powerful feedback loop that reinforces your belief in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. It's also essential to practice self-compassion. It's easy to fall into the trap of perfectionism, to think that you need to do everything perfectly and never make mistakes. But this mindset only fuels negative self-talk and creates a cycle of disappointment and frustration. Instead, practice being kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, instead of criticizing yourself, treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. Remember, mistakes are part of the learning process. They're not a reflection of your worth. As you begin to master your self-talk, you'll notice a shift in the way you approach life. You'll become more resilient in the face of challenges, more confident in your abilities, and more focused on your goals. Your thoughts will no longer control you. You'll be in control of your thoughts. And as your self-talk becomes more positive and empowering, your actions will follow. You'll start taking more risks, embracing new opportunities, and achieving things you once thought were impossible. The journey to mastering your self-talk is a process, and it won't happen overnight. But the more you practice, the more natural it will become. And as you transform the way you speak to yourself, you'll transform your life. Because the truth is, your thoughts shape your reality. When you change your inner dialogue, you change the world around you. You start to believe in yourself, trust your abilities, and take action toward your dreams. And that's when the magic happens. Chapter 15. Visualize your success. Create a mental map to your goals. If you can see it, you can achieve it. It sounds simple, right? But there's a reason why this idea has been echoed by successful people, thought leaders, and motivational speakers for years. It's because it works. The power of visualization is more than just daydreaming about your success. It's about creating a mental map that guides your actions, strengthens your resolve, and builds the belief that your goals are not just possible, but inevitable. Picture this. You wake up in the morning, and you have a clear image in your mind. You know exactly where you're headed, and you're excited about it. Maybe you visualized yourself delivering a powerful presentation, landing a new job, or even running a marathon. When you have a clear, vivid picture of your success, it does something extraordinary to your brain. It gets to work as if you've already achieved it. That's the magic of visualization. But to make it real, you need to understand how to harness this power and make it work for you in ways that are deeply impactful. Visualization isn't just a mental exercise, it's a tool that, when used correctly, can unlock a new level of focus, determination, and confidence. If you've ever doubted yourself or hesitated to take that next step because you weren't sure if you could make it, visualization is the answer. It allows you to see the outcome before it happens, and that makes it much easier to take bold, decisive actions in real life. The key to making visualization work for you is to get as specific and detailed as possible. Don't just imagine success as a vague idea. Break it down. Picture the sights, sounds, and feelings of what it will be like when you achieve your goal. The more sensory details you include in your vision, the more real it will feel. Close your eyes and imagine walking on stage to give that presentation. Feel the cool air on your skin. Hear the applause of the crowd. See the faces of people nodding in approval. Your mind can't distinguish between vivid imagination and real experience. So when you visualize, you're essentially reprogramming your brain to expect success and to create the steps necessary to get there. But let's get real for a second. Visualization alone isn't enough. It's not a magic wand that will make all your dreams come true without any effort. It's a tool that needs to be paired with action, discipline, and persistence. You can visualize all you want, but if you don't back it up with consistent effort, your dreams will stay just that. That's why the most successful people use visualization as a catalyst. It sparks the belief that they can succeed, and that belief fuels their actions. It gives them the courage to keep going when things get tough, because they've already seen their success in their mind's eye. So how do you take visualization and turn it into something that drives your daily actions? First, start by setting clear goals. You can't visualize success if you don't know what success looks like for you. Define your goals in detail. Break them down into smaller, manageable tasks, and then create a clear vision for each one. For instance, if your goal is to run a marathon, don't just imagine crossing the finish line. Visualize every step, the training, the early mornings, the sweat on your brow, the pride you feel when you finish that final mile. The more vividly you can picture the entire journey, the more motivated you'll be to take the steps necessary to achieve it. But visualization isn't just about the big picture. It's about making that vision real in every aspect of your life. Imagine yourself waking up each day with the mindset of someone who has already achieved their goals. Visualize the habits, the routines, and the actions that will get you there. Picture yourself eating healthy, working out, and staying disciplined. When you do this consistently, your brain starts to believe that these actions are just as important as the end result itself. And that's where the power lies. One of the most powerful aspects of visualization is that it helps you get comfortable with the process of success, not just the outcome. Many people focus only on the destination, but the truth is, success isn't a one-time event. It's a journey. When you visualize yourself succeeding, you're mentally rehearsing the effort, the setbacks, the learning moments, and the victories along the way. You're preparing yourself to handle whatever comes your way with resilience and determination. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When you begin to visualize, you also begin to tap into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination, which means that when you picture yourself achieving success, your brain starts working behind the scenes to make it happen. It starts to send you the right opportunities, ideas, and solutions to move you toward your goals. It's like you're sending out a signal to the universe, telling it, "This is who I am, and this is what I want." Visualization is also incredibly powerful for overcoming fear and self-doubt. Have you ever hesitated to take action because you were afraid of failing? When you visualize success, you're not only picturing the end result, you're rehearsing the moments when things don't go according to plan. You're mentally preparing yourself to stay calm, to adapt, and to keep going. This reduces anxiety and makes it easier to step into uncertainty with confidence. You're training your brain to expect challenges and to see them as opportunities for growth, not obstacles that stop you in your tracks. Now let's talk about consistency. Visualization is a tool, not a one-time fix. To truly harness its power, you need to make it a daily practice. It's like building a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger and more effective it becomes. Spend a few minutes every day visualizing your success, whether it's in the morning before you start your day, or at night before you go to sleep. The more you see it, the more your brain will begin to work in alignment with your vision. But don't stop there. Pair visualization with action. Visualizing yourself succeeding is great, but it's the steps you take each day that turn that vision into reality. If you see yourself becoming a successful entrepreneur, start taking action toward that goal right now. Research your industry, make connections, work on your skills. If you want to get fit, start your workout routine today. Visualize yourself running the marathon, but don't wait until race day to train. It's the daily actions that give your vision substance. And as you take those steps, you'll find that your belief in your ability to succeed grows stronger. Your mind, body, and spirit will align with your vision, and you'll start seeing results that once seemed impossible. The most successful people don't rely solely on hard work or talent. They understand the importance of mental preparation. Visualization is their secret weapon. It helps them stay focused, maintain their confidence, and keep their eyes on the prize, no matter how tough the journey gets. And the best part, you can use this powerful tool too. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect opportunity. You can start today. Visualize your success, believe in it with all your heart, and take inspired action to make it a reality. When you do, you'll be amazed at how much closer you come to achieving your dreams, one step at a time. Chapter 16. Get comfortable with failure, fail fast, learn faster. You ever wonder why some people seem to have this unstoppable drive, while others get stuck in the same cycle of excuses, delays, and doubt? It's not luck, it's not genetics. It's something much deeper, something that separates those who take massive action from those who spend their lives overthinking, waiting, and wishing. And if you're tired of being stuck, if you're done making excuses, then you need to understand this one thing: motivation is a trap. It's unreliable. It's fleeting. And if you're waiting for it, you're already losing. Think about the most disciplined and successful people you admire. Do you really think they wake up every morning feeling pumped and ready to go? No, they wake up just like you, with days where they don't feel like doing anything. But here's the difference: they don't let that feeling dictate their actions. They've built a system that forces them to take action, no matter how they feel. That's what you need to do. The problem most people have is they believe they need to feel motivated before they take action. They wait for inspiration to strike, for the right moment to come. But guess what? That moment never arrives. And every day that passes, they lose momentum, they reinforce their bad habits, and they stay exactly where they are, stuck, frustrated, and full of regret. If you want to break out of this cycle, you need to rewire your brain to take action first. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates results. And results? They create motivation. You don't feel like working out? Go anyway. You don't feel like working on your goals? Start small. But start. The more you act despite your feelings, the stronger you become. Let's talk about fear, because that's the real reason most people don't take action. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of time. It's fear disguised as procrastination. Fear of failing. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of making the wrong move. So what do people do? They stay in their comfort zone, convincing themselves they'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week, then next month, then next year. And before they know it, years have passed, and they're still standing in the same spot, wondering why their life hasn't changed. Here's the truth. You don't get rid of fear by waiting. You don't overcome doubt by thinking about it. You destroy fear by facing it head-on, by doing the things that scare you before you feel ready. And once you do, you'll realize something life-changing. Most of your fears were just illusions. The things you were scared of, they weren't as bad as you imagined. But the only way to know that is to act. No amount of thinking, planning, or researching will replace the power of simply doing. Now, let's get into the real game changer: your habits, your daily routines. Because let's be real, success isn't about one big move. It's about the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. And if your current habits aren't aligned with the life you want, you're never going to get there. You say you want to be successful, but what do your mornings look like? Are you scrolling through your phone first thing? Are you wasting time on distractions? Or are you setting up your day with discipline, focus, and purpose? You say you want to be in great shape, but do your daily actions reflect that? Or are you still making excuses about why you don't have time to work out? Your results don't lie. They are a direct reflection of your habits. If you want to change your life, change what you do every single day. It's that simple. Start by cutting out the nonsense that drains your time and energy. Replace distractions with intentional action. And most importantly, stop negotiating with yourself. The second you start making deals in your mind, maybe I'll skip today, I'll start tomorrow, just one more hour of Netflix, you've already lost. The most disciplined people don't entertain those thoughts. They shut them down immediately and do what needs to be done. Now, let's talk about identity, because this is where the real shift happens. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, guess what? You will continue to struggle. If you believe you're not a morning person, you'll keep hitting snooze. If you tell yourself you're not good at something, you'll never put in the effort to improve. Your actions will always align with your identity. So if you want to change your results, start by changing how you see yourself. Stop saying, I need to get motivated. Start saying, I am disciplined. Stop saying, I wish I was more focused. Start saying, I am someone who gets things done. The moment you shift your identity, your actions follow. You no longer need motivation because it's just who you are. And when you operate from this mindset, nothing can stop you. Because now, taking action isn't a question of if or when, it's automatic. It's inevitable. So here's your wake-up call. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop overthinking. The clock is ticking, and every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. The only way to change your life is to take action. Right now, not later. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start. And once you do, you'll realize something incredible. The power was in you all along. Chapter 17. Build a support system. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. You ever wonder why some people make success look effortless while others struggle for years without making any real progress? It's not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about one thing: how they think. The way you think shapes every action you take, every decision you make, and ultimately, the results you get. And if you're not seeing the results you want in your life, chances are you've been programmed with the wrong thoughts. Most people don't even realize they're running on autopilot, following a set of beliefs and habits they picked up from childhood, from society, from the people around them. They're stuck in a cycle of doubt, fear, and hesitation, and they don't even know it. That's why no matter how many times they try to change, they always fall back into old patterns. But here's the good news. You can break that cycle. You can rewire your thoughts, upgrade your mindset, and start operating at a completely different level. And once you do, success stops being a struggle and starts becoming inevitable. Let's start with the biggest mindset trap. The belief that you need to feel ready before you take action. This is one of the biggest lies people tell themselves. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect plan. But here's the truth. You will never feel ready. You will never have all the answers. And if you wait until you do, you'll be waiting forever. Successful people don't wait. They start. They take action, even when they're unsure, even when they're scared, even when they don't feel like it. And that's exactly why they win. Your brain is wired to keep you safe. It doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about survival. So every time you try to step out of your comfort zone, your brain hits you with fear, self-doubt, and hesitation. It's not because you're not capable. It's not because you're not smart enough or strong enough. It's simply your brain trying to protect you from the unknown. But here's the secret. Those thoughts are not reality. They're just signals, and you don't have to listen to them. Think about the last time you avoided something because it made you uncomfortable. Maybe it was a big opportunity. Maybe it was a tough conversation. Maybe it was a new habit you wanted to start, but kept putting off. Now ask yourself, where would you be right now if you had just done it? How much further would you be if you didn't let hesitation hold you back? That's the cost of inaction. Every time you hesitate, every time you let fear win, you are delaying your success. But the moment you start acting despite the fear, that's when everything changes. Now let's talk about discipline, because this is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Most people rely on motivation to get things done, and that's why they fail. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. You wake up one day feeling inspired, ready to take on the world. The next day, you feel tired, distracted, unmotivated. If your success depends on how motivated you feel, you're setting yourself up to fail. The people who win in life, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They have rules. They have systems. They don't negotiate with themselves. If they say they're going to do something, they do it, whether they feel like it or not. Think about it like this. You don't brush your teeth in the morning because you feel motivated. You do it because it's a habit. It's non-negotiable. That's exactly how you need to treat your goals. You don't work on them when you feel inspired. You work on them every single day, no matter what. Because success isn't about big moves. It's about small, consistent actions that compound over time. And here's another mindset shift that will change everything for you. Stop focusing on results and start focusing on identity. Most people say things like, I want to be successful, I want to be disciplined, I want to be confident. But deep down, they don't actually see themselves that way. And because they don't identify with success, they never create it. Your actions will always align with the identity you believe in. If you believe you're lazy, you'll act lazy. If you believe you're not good at something, you won't even try. But if you start telling yourself, I am disciplined, I am someone who gets things done, I am successful, your actions will start aligning with that belief. And over time, that belief becomes your reality. So ask yourself right now, who do you want to be? What kind of person do you need to become to achieve your goals? Once you define that, start acting like that person now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because success isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. And it starts with how you think, how you act, and how you show up every single day. There's no shortcut. There's no magic formula. But if you change your thoughts, if you rewire your mindset, if you develop the discipline to take action no matter what, you will become unstoppable. You will become the person who doesn't just dream about success, but actually achieves it. And that is the ultimate game changer. Chapter 18. Master your emotions, be the master of your feelings. Have you ever felt like your emotions were controlling you? Like, no matter how hard you try, anger, fear, anxiety, or sadness just take over, and before you know it, your whole day is off track. It's a common struggle. But here's the truth. Your emotions are not you. They are not permanent. And they are absolutely not in charge unless you let them be. We've all been there, right? We're on a roll, maybe knocking out our to-do list, staying disciplined, feeling good about our progress, and then out of nowhere, something triggers us. Maybe it's an uncomfortable conversation, an unexpected setback, or just a fleeting moment of doubt. Suddenly we find ourselves in a spiral, struggling to regain control, and we feel like everything we've worked for is slipping away. But here's the key. You can master your emotions, and you can do it starting right now. We live in a world that constantly tells us to follow our feelings. Do what feels good, they say. But if we always let our emotions dictate our actions, we'll be at the mercy of our moods, and we all know how unpredictable those can be. 1 minute you're on top of the world, and the next you're paralyzed by fear or doubt. That's not how you create lasting success. To get where you want to go, you need to train yourself to rise above those emotional waves, to weather the storms without letting them sink your ship. So, how do we do that? How do we stop letting our emotions control us and instead become the master of them? Well, it all starts with awareness. The first step in mastering your emotions is simply noticing them. That might sound easy, but how often do we go through the motions of our day, only to realize hours later that we've been angry or stressed out without even knowing it? We let the emotion carry us like a boat in a river, unaware of the current, until we're far downstream. By learning to notice your emotions as they arise, you can start to take control. It's like learning to recognize the signs of a storm before it hits. When you feel that shift happening, whether it's anger, frustration, fear, or anxiety, take a step back. Pause. You're not your emotions, you're the one observing them. By simply creating space between your feelings and your reactions, you gain the power to choose how to respond. Think about it. When was the last time you got angry and later wished you'd responded differently? Or when fear held you back from taking action and you regretted it? The more we react without thinking, the more we fall into patterns that don't serve us. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but my emotions are so strong. It's not that easy. You're right. Emotions are powerful. They can feel overwhelming, like a wave crashing down on you. But just like you can't control the waves of the ocean, you can't control every feeling that comes your way. What you can control is how you ride those waves. And with practice, you can become better at riding them, not letting them control the course of your life. The next step in mastering your emotions is reframing them. This is where the real magic happens. Instead of seeing negative emotions as obstacles, start seeing them as signals. Emotions like fear or frustration are often pointing you in the direction of something you need to address. Fear, for example, can be a powerful motivator. Instead of letting it paralyze you, use it as fuel to take action. Fear often means you're about to step outside your comfort zone, and that's exactly where growth happens. When you feel fear, you can choose to see it as a sign that you're on the verge of something great, something that will push you toward your next level. Frustration is another powerful emotion. It can feel like you're running up against a wall, but it's also a signal that something needs to change. Maybe you're not approaching a problem in the right way. Maybe you're being too hard on yourself. Instead of letting frustration take over and derail you, take a moment to reflect. What's this emotion trying to tell you? What can you learn from it? One of the biggest obstacles to mastering your emotions is the belief that you should always feel positive. We've been taught that success comes from being happy all the time, from staying upbeat no matter what. But here's the truth. Nobody is positive all the time. Life is a roller coaster, and emotions are part of the ride. The key isn't to avoid negative emotions, but to learn how to move through them with resilience. It's about accepting that bad days are part of the journey, and that you can still move forward, even on the tough days. One of the most powerful tools in mastering your emotions is your breath. I know that might sound simple, but there's real power in focusing on your breath when emotions start to take over. When you feel anger or anxiety creeping in, stop and take a deep breath. Breathe in slowly for a count of 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. Do this a few times, and you'll feel your body start to relax. It's like a reset button for your nervous system. Deep breathing calms the fight or flight response and gives you the clarity you need to respond, not react. Another way to master your emotions is by practicing gratitude. When you feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, gratitude can shift your focus. Instead of letting your mind spiral into all the things that are wrong, take a moment to appreciate the things that are going well. Focus on the progress you've made, no matter how small. Gratitude has the power to transform your emotional state, shifting you from a place of lack to a place of abundance. It's also important to remember that emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. Bottling up your feelings only leads to more stress and internal conflict. It's about acknowledging your emotions, understanding where they're coming from, and choosing how to respond. By allowing yourself to feel, but not being controlled by your feelings, you take back your power. And let's be clear, this is a skill that takes practice. Mastering your emotions doesn't happen overnight, but the more you practice, the better you get at it. Just like building muscle, emotional mastery requires consistent effort. Every time you choose to pause instead of reacting, every time you reframe a negative emotion, you are strengthening your ability to stay in control. So next time you feel like your emotions are taking over, remember this: you are in charge. You don't have to let your feelings decide how your day will go. You don't have to let fear, frustration, or anger control your actions. With awareness, reframing, and practice, you can master your emotions and stay focused on the goals that matter most. The power is in your hands, and it always has been. Chapter 19. Consistent reflection needs evaluate and adjust regularly. You're going through your day ticking off items on your to-do list, grinding away at your goals, and maybe even feeling a sense of accomplishment. But then it hits you: how do you know if what you're doing is actually working? How do you know if the path you're on is the right one, or if you're just moving forward because that's what you've always done? Here's a little secret: if you're not reflecting on your progress regularly, you're just guessing. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of life. We have work, family, deadlines, and all the other things that demand our attention. In the middle of it all, it's easy to forget why we started in the first place. We get so focused on staying busy and moving forward that we forget to stop and ask ourselves, am I heading in the right direction? Is this still aligned with my goals? And if not, what needs to change? You've heard the phrase, hindsight is 20/20ths. Well, there's a reason that saying exists. When we look back on our past actions, it's easy to see where we went wrong, or where we could have done things differently. But here's the catch: why wait until hindsight? Why not practice that kind of clarity in the moment? That's where the power of consistent reflection comes in. When you take the time to evaluate your progress regularly, you don't have to wait until you're deep into the journey to realize something's off. You can course correct as you go, ensuring that every step you take is purposeful, intentional, and aligned with the vision you've set for yourself. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But I'm so busy, I barely have time to get everything done, let alone reflect on how I'm doing. Trust me, I get it. Life is fast-paced. But here's the thing: taking just a few minutes each day or week to reflect can save you so much time and energy in the long run. It's like driving a car without checking your rearview mirror. You might be speeding along just fine for a while, but eventually you'll hit a roadblock or make a wrong turn that could have been avoided with a little bit of reflection. Let's break it down. Imagine you're working toward a big goal. Maybe it's getting healthier, building a business, or mastering a new skill. You're putting in the work, but how do you know if it's actually moving you closer to your goal? How do you know if your efforts are yielding the results you want? Without consistent reflection, you could be spending months or even years on something that's not actually serving you. So, how do we make reflection a part of our daily routine? It's all about intentionality. It's about carving out time to check in with yourself and ask the tough questions. Every morning, before you dive into your tasks for the day, take a moment to think about where you are. What did you accomplish yesterday? What went well? What could you have done differently? This doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. It's about checking in, getting a clear picture of where you stand, and then adjusting your approach as needed. It's also about being honest with yourself. Reflection isn't just about patting yourself on the back for everything you did right. It's about being brutally honest about where you've fallen short and what needs to change. This might be uncomfortable, but it's necessary if you want to grow. Growth doesn't happen when we stay in our comfort zones. It happens when we push ourselves to face the truth, even if that truth is tough to swallow. And let me tell you, it's worth it. Now, let's talk about a key part of reflection: evaluation. Taking the time to evaluate how things are going is crucial to making progress. But evaluation doesn't just mean looking at the surface level of things. It's about diving deep and asking yourself what's really going on behind the scenes. Are your habits supporting your goals? Are you using your time effectively? Are you staying consistent, or are you falling off track? The answers to these questions will give you the clarity you need to make adjustments and keep moving forward. One of the most powerful tools for evaluation is tracking your progress. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly effective. When you can look back and see how far you've come, it's easier to stay motivated and on track. Whether it's keeping a journal, using an app, or just jotting down notes, tracking allows you to see patterns in your behavior and progress. And when you see those patterns, you can adjust your actions accordingly. Maybe you're putting in more effort than you realized, or maybe you're spending too much time on things that aren't moving the needle. Either way, tracking gives you the data you need to make informed decisions. Another important part of reflection is resetting your mindset. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going as planned. You might feel like you're stuck, or like the goal is too far out of reach. But when you reflect regularly, you can remind yourself why you started in the first place. Reflection helps you reconnect with your vision, realign with your purpose, and stay focused on the bigger picture. It's like having a GPS for your life. Even if you hit a detour or take a wrong turn, you can always recalibrate and get back on track. Here's the real secret to consistent reflection. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about giving yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. You'll never be flawless, and that's okay. What matters is that you stay committed to your journey, that you learn from your experiences, and that you continue to take action. Reflection isn't about beating yourself up for what you didn't do. It's about acknowledging where you've been and using that knowledge to move forward. And as you reflect on your progress, it's important to celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem. When you accomplish something, take a moment to acknowledge it. Give yourself credit for the effort you've put in and the progress you've made. These small wins build momentum and help you stay motivated. The more you celebrate your progress, the more you'll feel empowered to keep pushing forward. But here's the thing, reflection is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process. It's not enough to reflect once and think that's all you need. Just like you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to be in peak physical shape, you can't expect to reflect once and have everything fall into place. It's an ongoing practice, and the more you do it, the more natural it will become. You'll start to notice the areas where you need to improve before they even become problems. You'll be able to pivot quickly when something isn't working. And ultimately, you'll be able to move forward with more clarity, confidence, and purpose. So, let me leave you with this. If you want to keep moving toward your goals, if you want to stay on track and continue to grow, you must make reflection a regular part of your routine. It's not just about looking back, it's about looking at where you are now and figuring out what needs to change in order to get where you want to go. The more consistently you reflect, the more you'll learn about yourself, your habits, and your journey. And the more you'll be able to adjust, pivot, and ultimately succeed. Keep reflecting, keep adjusting, and watch how your life transforms. Chapter 20. Your legacy make every day count. When it's all said and done, what will people remember you for? Think about that. What will your legacy be? When you're no longer here, what will you have left behind? It's not something most of us like to think about. Death and legacy can feel heavy. But here's the thing, your legacy is being built right now. Every single decision you make, every action you take, every habit you form, is either adding to or taking away from the legacy you're creating. You might be thinking, I'm not famous, I'm not going to leave some giant monument or make millions of dollars that everyone will remember. But that's not what legacy is about. It's not about fame, money, or accolades. It's about the mark you leave on the world and on the people around you. It's about the impact you have on your family, your friends, your community, and even the strangers you'll never meet. Your legacy is shaped by the way you show up every day, by the way you treat others, and by the choices you make when no one is watching. And let's be clear, every choice counts. Think about it like this. Every moment is an opportunity to either strengthen or weaken the foundation of your legacy. The way you handle your failures, how you treat people who can't do anything for you, the way you persevere when life gets tough, all of it is shaping the story that will be told about you long after you're gone. And the best part, you have the power to decide what that story will be. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I don't have control over what people will remember. You're right in the sense that we can't control how everyone will perceive us, but we can control how we live our lives today. Every action, every decision, every word we speak, it all plays a part in building the story that will live on. The way you choose to live now will ultimately define what people remember about you. Will they remember you as someone who constantly made excuses, or as someone who took responsibility for their life, no matter what? Will they see you as someone who gave up when things got hard, or as someone who pushed through, showed resilience, and kept going even when the odds were stacked against you? Building your legacy is not something that happens at the end of your life. It's not something you can leave for later. It's something you build every single day. The choices you make in the small, quiet moments matter just as much as the big, dramatic decisions. When you choose to wake up early and work on your goals instead of hitting snooze, you're building your legacy. When you choose to treat people with kindness and respect, even when they don't deserve it, you're building your legacy. When you push through the tough days, refuse to quit, and keep showing up even when it feels like no one is watching, you're building your legacy. One of the most powerful ways to create a meaningful legacy is by staying true to your values, no matter the circumstances. Your values are the compass that guide you through life. They define who you are, how you make decisions, and how you interact with others. When you live in alignment with your values, you are creating a legacy that is authentic and meaningful. But when you let the world's expectations, society's standards, or the opinions of others dictate how you live, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, you're also building a legacy that isn't true to who you really are. Think about the people you admire most. What is it about them that stands out to you? Chances are it's not their accomplishments or their accolades, it's their character. It's the way they handle adversity, the way they treat others, the way they stay grounded in their values no matter what. That's the legacy that lasts. That's the legacy that has the power to change lives. And here's the truth. You have that same power within you. Your legacy is not about perfection. It's not about being flawless or always doing the right thing. It's about showing up every day with intention and purpose. It's about making the most of the time you have, because none of us know how much time that is. We think we have all the time in the world, but the reality is, tomorrow is never promised. That's why it's so important to make today count. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for things to be just right. Start building your legacy now, with every small choice you make. The truth is, you're building it whether you're aware of it or not. So why not take control and make sure it's the legacy you want to leave behind? One of the most impactful ways to build a legacy is by leading by example. People watch you. They see how you handle life's challenges. They see how you treat your family, your friends, your co-workers, and even the people you don't know. Every time you choose to act with integrity, with kindness, with strength, you're leading others to do the same. You may never know the full extent of the impact you're having, but I promise you, it's there. Your example ripples out, influencing others in ways you can't even imagine. And that's one of the most powerful ways to leave a lasting legacy, by inspiring others to be better, to live with purpose, and to strive for greatness. Another important aspect of building your legacy is resilience. Life is tough, and it's full of obstacles. But what people remember is not how you fell, but how you got back up. Your ability to persevere, to keep going even when things get hard, is what will define your legacy. When you face setbacks, challenges, or failures, you have a choice. You can either let them break you, or you can let them strengthen you. It's in those tough moments that your true character shines through. And it's in those moments that you build the kind of legacy that people will admire for years to come. So what does your legacy look like right now? Are you living in a way that aligns with the legacy you want to leave? If not, what needs to change? What small actions can you take today to start building that legacy? It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about starting right where you are, with the resources you have and the person you are today. The truth is, you have everything you need to build a powerful, lasting legacy. You just have to start. Make every day count. Make every action count. Make every decision count. And know that with every choice you make, you're building the legacy that will live on long after you're gone. Because in the end, it's not about what you accomplish, it's about who you become and how you impact the world around you.